The ESR meter is a very useful tool with a surprising range of applications. In this video, we're going to discuss one application, the use of an ESR meter to test electrolytic capacitors, and then finish with a practical demonstration. This is an ESR meter. ESR stands for equivalent series resistance and will be explained more fully in a separate video, but for now, just think of ESR as a measure of how healthy a capacitor is. A healthy electrolytic capacitor will have a relatively low resistance to AC current. When a capacitor's condition deteriorates, its resistance to AC current increases, especially at high frequencies. An ESR meter can check this resistance at high frequency so that it is possible to determine if a capacitor is good or bad. This ESR meter is a low-cost generic model, but still very capable and has a variety of other uses in addition to checking capacitors. It comprises 2 probe clips for checking capacitors in circuit, a line of sockets that enable a capacitor's leads to be directly plugged in when out of circuit, a micro USB socket on the side that can be used to power the unit instead of the 2 internal AA batteries, 3 buttons on the front for power to zero the unit before use and range selection if needed, and a printed table of acceptable values that we will refer to later. Now, let's commence the practical demonstration. We're going to test an electrolytic capacitor on this power supply board from an old computer monitor. Note that it has been safely discharged and no residual potential remains. This is the test procedure. First, determine which capacitor to test, its value, polarity, and location on the opposite side of the board. You can mark it with a felt pen just to be sure. This capacitor, C911, has a value of 470 microfarads and 25 volt rating. The table on the front of the unit tells us that it should have an ESR of less than 0.12 ohms to be good and within specification. Now turn on the unit. We will leave the range set to auto. Connect the probe clips together and zero the unit by pressing the 0 button. Connect the clips to the capacitor, observing the correct polarity. From the display, we can see that this capacitor has a reading of well under 0.12 ohms, so it seems to be good. If it were over 0.12 ohms, we would remove it from the circuit and recheck to see if it needed replacing. If it also failed out of circuit, we would simply replace it with an equivalent capacitor from our stock of new or salvaged components. You can refer to other Tech Talk English videos for tips on soldering and desoldering. Electrolytic capacitor, equivalent series resistance, frequency, specification, range, probe clip.